What if everything you thought you knew about human history was incomplete? Imagine unearthing a secret so profound that it could rewrite the story of our existence, a truth buried beneath layers of time and obscured by skepticism. In the heart of Ecuador, amidst its lush landscapes and ancient traditions, a discovery has emerged that challenges the very foundation of what we believe to be true. Evidence, some say, of being so large and enigmatic that they defy conventional understanding, ancient giants who may have once roamed this earth. While history books tell tales of empires, kings, and revolutions, they remain silent about these colossal figures of the past. Could it be that they walked among our ancestors or even shaped the world we see today? In this video, we will journey into the myths, legends, and startling findings that surround the mystery of ancient giants in Ecuador. From massive skeletons discovered near Cuenca to the whispers of folklore passed through generations, we will explore the evidence that has puzzled scientists and ignited debates across the globe. Are these stories simply remnants of exaggerated tales, or do they point to a forgotten chapter in our shared human story? Stay with us as we uncover the clues, challenge the skeptics, and delve into the truths that might just rewrite history as we know it. Now turning to the enigma of giants in history, we find ourselves surrounded by ancient myths and folklore that span cultures, continents, and centuries. From the towering figures of Norse mythology to the giant Goliath in biblical texts, humanity has long been captivated by the idea of beings far larger than ourselves. In Greek mythology, the Titans were said to be colossal deities who once ruled the earth, their immense size and power symbolizing their dominance. Meanwhile, in Mesopotamian legends, the Epic of Gilgamesh tells of encounters with enormous beings guarding sacred forests, hinting at the coexistence of humans and giants in primordial times. Even the folklore of the Native American tribes speaks of giant humanoids who once roamed the land, their footprints allegedly embedded in the terrain as silent witnesses to their existence. These tales, often dismissed as mere allegory or exaggeration, share an eerily consistent theme: the presence of larger-than-life beings interacting with humanity's ancestors. Could these recurring stories, spread across such vast distances and disparate cultures, suggest a kernel of truth to the legend of giants? It is within this global tapestry of myths that Ecuador's own stories of giants gain a fascinating dimension. What if these tales are not just imaginative storytelling but fragmented memories of an ancient reality? As we venture further into Ecuadorian legends, we begin to uncover threads that tie these global stories to the discoveries made in its soil, hinting at a deeper and more mysterious connection. Now turning to the ancient Ecuadorian legends of giants, we uncover a vibrant tapestry of stories passed down through generations of indigenous communities. Among these oral traditions, the Shuar and Achua people share captivating accounts of immense humanoid beings who once roamed the dense Amazonian forests and towering Andes mountains. These giants are said to have been both awe-inspiring and terrifying, often described as powerful protectors of sacred lands or ominous beings whose presence marked significant events. One of the most compelling legends tells of the Guayaco giants, who are believed to have shaped the landscape, carving valleys and forming rivers as they walked across the land. Such tales, rich in detail and reverence, are not merely regarded as myths by the local communities but as integral pieces of their cultural heritage, weaving spiritual significance into the natural world around them. The stories often highlight a harmonious yet complex relationship between these colossal figures and the early inhabitants of Ecuador, suggesting interactions that shaped the region's identity. What makes these legends even more intriguing is their striking resonance with the global narratives of giants, raising the question of how such similar accounts could emerge in cultures with no apparent connection. Could these shared themes point to a long-lost truth buried beneath layers of time and tradition? As we consider these fascinating myths, an undeniable link begins to emerge between the stories and the physical discoveries made in Ecuador's soil, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a forgotten chapter of human history. Moving forward, we delve into the early archaeological discoveries that began to challenge conventional views of history in Ecuador. In the late 19th century, reports surfaced of unusually large bones unearthed in various parts of the country. These findings, initially dismissed as anomalies or misidentifications, included oversized human-like femurs and skull fragments that dwarfed those of modern humans. Local farmers and explorers often brought these discoveries to the attention of amateur archaeologists and collectors, fueling intrigue and speculation. One notable account comes from the Loja province, where laborers claim to have uncovered massive skeletal remains while working fields. Descriptions of bones measuring far beyond the proportions of any known human species sparked curiosity, yet were met with skepticism by scientific institutions of the time. Lacking advanced preservation methods and rigorous documentation, many of these early finds were either lost, dismissed, or relegated to folklore. Adding to the mystery, local tales intertwined with these discoveries, lending a cultural weight that further blurred the line between myth and reality. Scholars and explorers who did take an interest were often divided, with some advocating for further study while others deemed the discoveries too implausible to warrant serious attention. These early finds laid the groundwork for a larger conversation about the possibility of ancient giants, igniting a mix of wonder and controversy that continues to echo through the halls of archaeology and beyond. As these scattered clues began to accumulate, they set the stage for more systematic investigations into what might lie hidden beneath Ecuador's soil, leading to the remarkable discoveries in the years to come. Now turning to one of the most astonishing chapters in this ongoing mystery, we arrive at the 2013 discovery near the city of Cuenca in southern Ecuador. Reports surfaced of a construction crew unearthing what appeared to be massive human skeletons remains so large that they defied conventional understanding of human anatomy. These skeletons, measuring approximately 7 meters in height when reconstructed, were unlike anything even the most seasoned archaeologists had ever encountered. The bones were remarkably well preserved, leading experts to speculate about the unique environmental conditions that might have safeguarded them over time. The femurs alone extended well over 2 meters, and the skulls displayed proportions unlike those of modern humans, with features that suggested enhanced robustness and strength. Photographs and measurements quickly circulated online, sparking an international wave of fascination and disbelief. For many, this discovery seemed to lend unprecedented physical evidence to the idea that giants once roamed the earth, a concept long confined to mythology and folklore. What made this find even more compelling was its geographic context. Cuenca is surrounded by the Andean highlands, a landscape known for preserving ancient artifacts and remains. The discovery ignited questions about the region's role in hosting a potential ancient species or humanoid population that we have yet to fully understand. However, this breakthrough also faced immediate skepticism. Scientists and skeptics alike debated whether the bones could have belonged to a known extinct species or whether they were elaborate fakes. Still, for those who advocate for the possibility of ancient giants, the Cuenca skeletons remain a cornerstone in the search for answers, a tangible clue that continues to fuel both inquiry and imagination. With curiosity at an all-time high, these findings underscored the growing need for more sophisticated investigations into the mysteries beneath Ecuador's soil. As the next phase of the journey unfolds, we delve into the mixed reactions that followed the discovery of the Cuenca skeletons. Almost immediately after the initial reports went public, skepticism began to surface from various circles. Scientists, historians, and even some curious members of the public questioned the authenticity of the findings. Local archaeologists voiced concerns over the lack of formal documentation accompanying the discovery. While some claim to have seen detailed measurements and photographs, others noted the absence of peer-reviewed studies or official excavation records. This raised a crucial point. Without proper academic verification, could these discoveries truly be taken as fact? Residents of Cuenca added to the intrigue by sharing stories that seemed to corroborate the possibility of giants in the region. Some spoke of passed-down tales describing enormous beings who roamed the land, while others reported witnessing the unearthed bones firsthand. Yet, these personal accounts lacked the scientific backing needed to establish the skeletons as definitive proof of giants. As local and international experts debated, the question of authenticity became a focal point. Were these remains evidence of a long-lost chapter in human history, or were they exaggerated claims, perhaps born from misinterpretation or even deliberate fabrication? Without comprehensive studies or further archaeological digs in the region, the mystery deepened. This tension between fascination and skepticism set the stage for an even larger conversation about how we approach extraordinary claims and the evidence needed to support them. Now turning to the physical evidence itself, the skeletal remains found near Cuenca have been described as nothing short of astonishing. Reports indicate that these bones far exceed the size of any typical human remains. For example, certain femur bones were said to measure nearly twice the length of those belonging to an average adult male. Similarly, skull fragments appeared to be unusually large, with cranial capacities that, if accurate, could suggest beings of extraordinary stature and physical strength. By some estimates, these individuals may have stood over 10 feet tall, a height that defies all current understanding of human anatomy. Comparisons to modern human skeletal structures only heighten the sense of mystery. Standard human bones, when placed alongside these reported remains, seem almost diminutive, raising questions about the biological and genetic differences that would allow for such growth. However, without the bones being subjected to rigorous scientific analysis, a definitive conclusion remains elusive. Additionally, preliminary observations suggested that the skeletal structure was robust, possibly designed to support considerable weight. This further fueled speculation about their potential lifestyle, environment, and adaptations. Were they hunters, gatherers, or even something entirely unknown to history? While the physical evidence is tantalizing, its fragmented and incomplete nature leaves much room for interpretation and misinterpretation. To truly understand what these remains represent, they must withstand the scrutiny of detailed, peer-reviewed research. Yet, even in their current state, they challenge our understanding of what is possible and continue to spark questions about who or what these beings might have been. Moving forward, the question of time becomes crucial in unraveling the mystery of these skeletal remains. Determining their age could provide essential clues about when these beings might have lived and how they fit into the broader historical narrative. Preliminary attempts to date the bones have reportedly utilized methods like carbon dating, widely respected in the scientific community for its ability to estimate the age of organic material. Initial results, although limited and not yet peer-reviewed, suggest that the skeletons could be thousands of years old, placing their existence within a period far removed from modern history. If accurate, this time frame raises compelling questions about their coexistence with early human populations or other now extinct species. However, some researchers have noted potential anomalies in the results that could point to even older origins, perhaps tens of thousands of years, which would defy current historical and archaeological models. Interestingly, if these bones date back to such ancient periods, it could align with certain indigenous legends that describe a time when giants roamed the earth, lending an eerie sense of validation to these oral traditions. Yet skepticism remains, as external factors like contamination or environmental conditions may affect the reliability of such tests. Without additional studies and refined techniques, these age estimates remain speculative. What becomes clear is that the timeline of these giants, whether aligning with or diverging from known historical timelines, introduces a profound layer of complexity to this enigma. Could these beings represent a chapter of prehistory we have yet to uncover? The pursuit of these answers continues to captivate both scientists and enthusiasts alike. Now turning to the geological context of these remarkable findings, the layers of Earth where the skeletons were discovered hold vital clues about their origins and possible age. The remains were reportedly unearthed in sedimentary deposits that suggest a timeline stretching back thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. These layers are composed of compacted soil, sand, and rock, a hallmark of long-term geological processes that reflect significant shifts in the environment over millennia. What makes this particular site intriguing is the relatively undisturbed condition of the sediment, which indicates a natural preservation process that protected the bones from erosion and decay. Factors like mineral-rich soil and limited exposure to water and air may have slowed the decomposition, allowing the skeletons to remain intact for a considerable period. Additionally, the presence of volcanic ash in the area raises fascinating possibilities. Volcanic activity in ancient Ecuador could have played a dual role, first as a catastrophic event, potentially burying these beings rapidly under layers of ash, and second, as a preservative agent that sealed the remains from external elements. This phenomenon is not uncommon in the field of archaeology, as volcanic layers have been known to safeguard fossils and artifacts around the world by creating a time capsule of sorts. However, this also introduces complications. The dynamic nature of volcanic regions means that tectonic activity and soil compression might distort the exact positioning and condition of the remains, making it harder to draw definitive conclusions about how the skeletons came to rest in their final state. Even so, the geological evidence provides a tantalizing glimpse into a world that might have supported these giants, suggesting a unique interplay of natural forces that preserved their story beneath the earth. With this geological snapshot, we edge closer to deciphering how these skeletons not only survived the ravages of time, but also what their preservation might reveal about the past environment they inhabited. Moving forward, it becomes critical to explore the theories surrounding who or what these giants might have been and the intriguing implications of their existence on our understanding of history. Moving forward, the theories surrounding the Ecuadorian giants open up a realm of possibilities that spark both curiosity and debate. One of the most compelling hypotheses is that these beings might represent a lost branch of humanity, a population that diverged from our known evolutionary tree. If true, these giants could rewrite our understanding of human evolution, introducing a lineage that thrived under unique environmental conditions before vanishing from history. Some researchers speculate that their extraordinary size could be attributed to genetic adaptation or even a form of gigantism specific to their population. Others suggest that the giants may not have been entirely human but a hybrid species, blending traits of early humans with characteristics of an unknown origin. This theory aligns with myths and folklore from different parts of the world, which often describe giants as semi-divine beings or creatures of immense power and wisdom. On the other hand, skeptics propose that the skeletons might not belong to giants at all, but to an extinct species of primates or animals whose proportions have been exaggerated due to the way they were preserved and discovered. This interpretation raises questions about whether the physical evidence has been properly analyzed or if cultural narratives have influenced how these findings are perceived. Adding to the intrigue is the possibility that these giants were mythological beings brought to life in stories passed down through generations. In this view, the skeletons might serve as symbolic relics, creating a bridge between the tangible and the mythical, and reflecting humanity's enduring fascination with the extraordinary. Each of these theories brings its own implications. If the giants represent a distinct branch of humanity, their existence could reveal how environmental pressures shape physical traits and behaviors over time. If they are hybrids, the discovery could challenge the boundaries of what defines a species. And if they are mythological in origin, their story underscores the power of human imagination in constructing narratives that endure through centuries. These possibilities remind us how little we truly know about our ancient past and the mysteries that await deeper exploration. With these theories in mind, it becomes essential to consider their broader implications and how they might connect to other giant-related myths and evidence across the globe. Now turning to the Amazon rainforest, this vast and untamed expanse of wilderness adds yet another layer of intrigue to the story of the Ecuadorian giants. Stretching across millions of square miles, the Amazon remains one of the least explored regions on Earth, its dense vegetation and remote landscapes concealing countless secrets. Could it be that the forest floor, still largely untouched by modern archaeology, holds further evidence of these ancient giants? The proximity of Ecuador to the Amazon's sprawling expanse makes this question all the more compelling. Over the years, the Amazon has yielded a number of enigmatic discoveries, from mysterious geoglyphs to ancient cities hidden beneath the canopy, challenging our understanding of pre-Columbian history. If such astonishing finds can emerge from this region, it is not far-fetched to imagine that remnants of an ancient giant civilization might still lie buried within its depths. Moreover, indigenous tribes of the Amazon have long shared captivating oral traditions that speak of towering beings who once roamed their lands. These stories, passed down through generations, often portrayed giants as protectors of sacred sites or as powerful entities connected to the spiritual realm. These accounts provide an interesting parallel to the legends of giants in Ecuador, suggesting a shared cultural memory across the region. What if these stories are more than mere myth? What if they point to a forgotten chapter of history waiting to be uncovered? Adding to the mystery, some researchers have hypothesized that the unique and isolated conditions of the Amazon could have allowed such beings to thrive, forming a population adapted to a world of towering trees, vast rivers, and abundant resources. The immense biodiversity of the Amazon also raises the possibility of uncovering clues, such as tools, artifacts, or even additional skeletal remains that could provide more context to the discoveries in Ecuador. However, the challenges of exploring the Amazon are immense, with its dense jungle, unpredictable weather, and ecological sensitivity posing significant obstacles to scientific expeditions. Despite these difficulties, advancements in technology like remote sensing and satellite imagery offer hope for future discoveries. With these tools, researchers could pinpoint areas of interest, potentially uncovering evidence that connects the Ecuadorian giants to the mysteries of the Amazon. The rainforest stands as a beacon of possibility, its hidden treasures holding the potential to reshape our understanding of ancient history. As we consider the discoveries in Ecuador, the Amazon looms in the background as a region that could hold vital pieces of this puzzle, waiting for the moment when the world is ready to venture further into its depths. Moving forward, South America as a whole offers a rich tapestry of myths and folklore that mention giants, stretching far beyond the borders of Ecuador. In Peru, for instance, ancient legends tell of powerful, towering beings that arrived on their shores long before recorded history. The Chronicle of Garcilaso de la Vega, a prominent historian of the 17th century, recounts a story from the oral traditions of the Inca people. According to this tale, giants came from the ocean and were so immense that even their footprints, left in hardened rock, were larger than any ordinary man. These beings were said to have built great structures and left their marks on the land before disappearing mysteriously. Similarly, Brazilian myths also feature tales of colossal beings tied to the origins of the earth and sky. Indigenous tribes like the Tupi-Guarani have passed down stories of an ancient time when giants roamed freely, often described as primordial entities that were deeply connected to the natural world. These narratives frequently emphasize the giants' role in shaping the landscape, carving rivers, or moving mountains, portraying them as both creators and destroyers. By examining these myths, striking parallels emerge with the legends of Ecuadorian giants. All these accounts suggest the presence of beings whose extraordinary size set them apart, yet also granted them a significant place in the cultural memories of these regions. However, there are notable differences as well. While Ecuadorian legends often portrayed giants as spiritual protectors or even tragic figures whose remains linger as evidence of their once grand existence, Peruvian and Brazilian myths sometimes imbue them with more ambiguous roles, depicting them as both revered and feared. These variations hint at the unique perspectives and interactions each culture had with the concept of giants, shaped by their specific environments and histories. Yet, throughout South America, the recurring theme of giants serves as a compelling thread that binds these cultures together, suggesting a shared fascination with beings of enormous strength and stature. Could these stories point to a wider historical phenomenon, or are they simply reflections of the human imagination grappling with the mysteries of the past? As we compare these regional myths, one thing becomes clear: the tales of giants, diverse as they may be, remain deeply embedded in the cultural fabric of South America. These stories, passed down through generations, not only preserve the memory of the giants, but also invite us to explore how ancient societies interpreted the world around them. With such a wide variety of accounts across the continent, the mysteries of giants in South America continue to fuel a sense of wonder and invite further exploration. Now turning to the historical context of giants, we find ourselves delving into a fascinating intersection of mythology, anthropology, and history. Across ancient societies, the concept of giants often transcended mere storytelling, intertwining with cultural identity and even societal structure. For instance, in ancient Mesopotamian texts, figures like the Apkallu were described as semi-divine beings of immense size who were said to have imparted wisdom and knowledge to humanity. Similarly, the Greek mythology of the Titans portrays giants as primordial forces that played a pivotal role in shaping the cosmos. These stories, though varied, suggest that giants were not merely fictional entities but central to how ancient civilizations understood the origins of their world. Could these narratives have been inspired by actual encounters or discoveries? Intriguingly, evidence of gigantism in human history adds a layer of complexity to this question. Gigantism, a rare condition caused by an overproduction of growth hormones, has been documented in both historical and modern cases. Skeletal remains over the centuries have shown individuals significantly taller than the average height of their time, prompting speculation about whether such individuals could have contributed to the legends of giants. Additionally, ancient structures like Stonehenge, Egypt's pyramids, and the megalithic sites of the Andes raise questions about the strength and ingenuity required for their construction, leading some to wonder whether giants, either literal or symbolic, played a role in these monumental achievements. These connections provoke deeper questions about how myths, physical evidence, and human history intertwine. By examining the presence of giants within historical and cultural contexts, we begin to see them not just as products of imagination, but as complex symbols reflecting humanity's attempts to interpret and reconcile the mysteries of its past. This raises the possibility that giants, whether as real beings or profound metaphors, have always been a way for ancient societies to grapple with the extraordinary and the unknown. Moving forward, the controversy surrounding the discoveries in Ecuador adds another layer to this enduring mystery. Moving forward, the controversy surrounding the discoveries of giants in Ecuador has sparked heated debates that continue to divide opinions. Critics within the scientific community often argue that the findings lack sufficient evidence to substantiate claims of ancient giants. They point out that many of the reported skeletons have not undergone rigorous peer-reviewed analysis, leaving room for skepticism regarding their authenticity. Furthermore, some researchers dismiss the discoveries as misinterpretations of natural phenomena or the remains of individuals with rare medical conditions, such as gigantism, rather than evidence of a distinct population of giants. Adding fuel to the fire are allegations of hoaxes. Throughout history, there have been numerous examples of fabricated archaeological finds designed to draw attention or profit, leading skeptics to question whether the discoveries in Ecuador follow this pattern. They cite the absence of transparent documentation and the mysterious disappearance of some skeletal remains as red flags that cannot be ignored. On the other hand, proponents of the discoveries raise compelling counterarguments. They highlight eyewitness accounts from local residents who claim to have seen the massive skeletons firsthand, lending credibility to the reports. Additionally, believers argue that the lack of preserved evidence could stem from deliberate suppression by institutions aiming to protect conventional historical narratives. To them, these findings challenge mainstream archaeology and demand a broader perspective that considers alternative possibilities. This divide between skeptics and believers reflects a deeper struggle over how history and science should address unconventional discoveries. Could the truth lie somewhere between these polarized views? The subject remains a captivating enigma, urging further investigation and dialogue. As these debates persist, the disappearance of key evidence becomes an even more intriguing aspect of the story, one that raises urgent questions about what might have been hidden and why. Now turning to the mystery of the missing evidence, the disappearance of some skeletal remains adds an unsettling layer to the story of ancient giants in Ecuador. Reports suggest that several of these massive bones, initially unveiled to the public and researchers, have inexplicably vanished without a trace. This has fueled speculation and left many wondering, how could such significant artifacts simply disappear? Some propose that the remains were removed intentionally, pointing to alleged scientific cover-ups as a potential explanation. According to this theory, institutions or individuals with vested interests in maintaining traditional historical narratives might have seized the evidence to suppress findings that challenge established knowledge. Others suggest that the remains could have fallen victim to mishandling or neglect, with improper storage or transportation leading to their loss over time. Another explanation considers the possibility of private collectors acquiring these skeletons, driven by the allure of owning rare and controversial artifacts. Such acquisitions could have taken place discreetly, further complicating efforts to trace the evidence. Yet, for believers, the missing skeletons represent more than just an organizational failure or opportunism. They symbolize a deliberate attempt to withhold groundbreaking discoveries from public view. These claims, however, remain speculative as the lack of concrete information keeps the truth shrouded in uncertainty. What is undeniable, though, is that the absence of these remains amplifies the enigma surrounding the giants of Ecuador. Could these vanished artifacts hold the key to rewriting history? Or is their disappearance merely a reflection of the challenges inherent in uncovering and preserving ancient relics? Regardless of the reason, this absence underscores the urgency for transparency and rigorous documentation in archaeological research moving forward. As the search for answers continues, the fate of these missing skeletons remains a focal point in unraveling this extraordinary puzzle. Moving forward, the presence of ancient giants in Ecuador taps into a fascinating intersection with religious interpretations, particularly those found in the Bible and other sacred texts. One of the most prominent connections often cited is the mention of the Nephilim in the Bible, described in the book of Genesis as a race of giants who were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. The Nephilim have long been a subject of theological debate and mystery. Could the remains said to be discovered in Ecuador lend credibility to these ancient accounts? Some proponents argue that the existence of these massive skeletons aligns closely with biblical descriptions, suggesting that the Nephilim or similar beings may have once walked the earth. For believers, this possible link serves as a profound testament to the historical truth of their religious texts. bridging the spiritual and the tangible in a way that few archaeological discoveries ever could. However, these findings also raise challenging questions. If the giants of Ecuador were indeed connected to the Nephilim, what does that imply about the historical accuracy of other ancient religious narratives? And how would this reshape our understanding of the world's earliest civilizations? On the other hand, skeptics urge caution, viewing such interpretations as speculative and emphasizing the need for more conclusive evidence before drawing connections to religious texts. These critics argue that without rigorous scientific validation, linking the skeletons to figures like the Nephilim risks blending faith with conjecture, potentially muddying the waters of objective historical inquiry. Nonetheless, the idea of giants rooted in religious tradition provides a powerful lens through which many view these discoveries, underscoring the enduring interplay between faith, mythology, and science. Whether seen as a reaffirmation of sacred stories or a thought-provoking coincidence, the religious interpretations surrounding the giants of Ecuador continue to deepen the intrigue and complexity of their narrative. It seems that the more questions we ask, the more profound the mystery becomes, setting the stage for further exploration into the cultural and spiritual dimensions of these enigmatic beings. Now turning to the possibility of alternative explanations, we must consider whether the discoveries of ancient giants in Ecuador could be the result of deliberate hoaxes or simple misinterpretations. Throughout history, there have been numerous instances where extraordinary archaeological claims captured the imagination of the public, only to later be exposed as fabrications. Take, for example, the infamous Cardiff giant, a supposed petrified giant unearthed in New York in the 1860s. It was later revealed to be an elaborate hoax carved from gypsum and buried to deceive the public. Similarly, the Piltdown Man, a fraudulent fossil discovery in England, misled the scientific community for decades before being debunked as a combination of human and orangutan remains. These historical precedents remind us how easily a desire for sensational discoveries can cloud judgment and lead to widespread acceptance of falsehoods. Could the reports of massive skeletons in Ecuador fall into a similar category? Some skeptics argue that the lack of consistent documentation and the mysterious disappearance of key evidence make the case for ancient Ecuadorian giants suspicious at best. They point out that in this digital age where nearly everything is photographed and preserved, the absence of verifiable images or data raises red flags. On the other hand, proponents of the discoveries counter that dismissing them as hoaxes without thorough investigation does a disservice to the potential significance of these finds. They argue that unexplored territories and undiscovered artifacts in regions like Ecuador demand an open mind, cautioning against jumping to conclusions either way. Whether the Ecuadorian giants are genuine anomalies, misidentifications, or deliberate fabrications, this debate reinforces the need for rigorous scientific methods and transparency in archaeological research. As the next challenge unfolds, we delve into the realm of scientific skepticism, a cornerstone of rational inquiry and the pursuit of truth. Mainstream scientists and skeptics have long emphasized the importance of extraordinary evidence to support extraordinary claims, urging a careful and methodical approach to validating discoveries like the alleged giants of Ecuador. From their perspective, the absence of peer-reviewed studies, comprehensive documentation, and independent verification casts significant doubt on the legitimacy of these findings. Scientific validation requires a transparent and systematic process that includes controlled excavations, proper cataloging of artifacts, and detailed analysis by multidisciplinary teams. Without these essential components, critics argue, any conclusions drawn about the existence of ancient giants remain speculative at best. Furthermore, skeptics highlight the need for reproducibility in scientific research. This means that other researchers should be able to independently verify the results using the same methods and data. In the case of the Ecuadorian giants, the lack of access to physical specimens or reliable photographic evidence has made such verification nearly impossible. Skeptics also point to the potential for natural phenomena to produce misleading results. For example, geological processes can sometimes distort or fragment skeletal remains, leading to misinterpretations of size or shape. They argue that what may appear to be abnormally large human bones could, in reality, belong to entirely different species or be the result of natural anomalies. Additionally, the role of confirmation bias cannot be ignored. When researchers or enthusiasts set out to prove a particular theory, they may unintentionally overlook evidence that contradicts their narrative, further clouding the authenticity of their findings. For these reasons, skeptics remain cautious, advocating for a rigorous, evidence-based approach that leaves no room for doubt or conjecture. This insistence on scientific rigor ensures that any claims, whether about giants or other extraordinary phenomena, withstand the highest standards of scrutiny and contribute meaningfully to our understanding of history. Moving forward, the fragmentary nature of the evidence surrounding the alleged giants of Ecuador presents a significant challenge to uncovering the truth. The discoveries, while intriguing, are far from complete, leaving researchers with more questions than answers. Many of the skeletal remains reportedly unearthed are either incomplete or poorly preserved, making it difficult to draw definitive conclusions about their origin, size, or even their authenticity. This lack of completeness creates an inherent limitation in the scientific analysis, as critical data points needed for accurate assessment are simply missing. Adding to this challenge is the scarcity of documented findings and the apparent absence of key specimens. Without access to the full collection of evidence, researchers are left to rely on second-hand accounts, anecdotal reports, or fragmented pieces that lack the broader context necessary for a comprehensive understanding. This piecemeal approach not only hinders the process of verification, but also leaves space for speculation to fill the gaps. Moreover, the incomplete nature of the evidence underscores the pressing need for further exploration and study. New excavations conducted under strict scientific protocols could offer a clearer picture of what these remains truly represent. A multidisciplinary approach involving archaeology, anthropology, geology, and even advanced imaging technology could help uncover hidden details that might otherwise go unnoticed. Such efforts would also aid in building a larger and more reliable dataset, enabling researchers to construct a coherent narrative that either supports or challenges the claims of ancient giants. Until then, the mystery remains suspended in a state of uncertainty, requiring patience and meticulous investigation to move closer to the truth. As we reflect on these incomplete findings, the question arises, what other secrets might still lie buried, waiting to be discovered? This thought leads us to consider the broader implications, where the search for answers goes beyond local discoveries to encompass a deeper exploration of legends, history, and the untapped potential of the natural world. Now turning to the intriguing question of whether these alleged giants possessed advanced knowledge or technology, we find ourselves exploring a fascinating intersection of myth, history, and science. Could beings of such extraordinary stature have also been bearers of extraordinary intellect or innovation? This question gains traction when we consider the artifacts, tools, and ancient constructions found in Ecuador, some of which display a level of sophistication that challenges conventional understanding of the region's past inhabitants. Take, for example, the megalithic structures such as in Cuenca, the largest known Inca ruins in Ecuador. The precision with which these stones were cut and fitted together without the use of mortar raises questions about the level of architectural skill and technological prowess possessed by those who built them. While traditionally attributed to the Inca civilization, some theorists propose that such feats might hint at the influence of a civilization with greater physical and possibly intellectual capabilities. Additionally, mysterious tools and artifacts sometimes discovered near these sites have sparked debate among researchers. tools that seem unusually large or made from materials not typically available or workable with known ancient technologies have raised eyebrows. Could these items indicate that the giants, if they existed, had access to advanced methods or materials, or do they simply reflect a gap in our understanding of the technological abilities of ancient cultures? Beyond physical artifacts, there are also reports of geometric alignments and astronomical knowledge embedded in Ecuadorian monuments and other South American structures. These alignments suggest an awareness of celestial movements and seasonal cycles that would have required both planning and precise execution. If the giants were real, might they have been the custodians of such intricate knowledge, passing it down to subsequent civilizations? This line of inquiry is both tantalizing and speculative, as no definitive evidence has yet emerged to connect the dots. What remains undeniable, however, is the allure of these questions. They urge us to reconsider our assumptions about the past and to remain open to the possibility that lost knowledge or even lost civilizations may one day be rediscovered. As we ponder the advanced capabilities that these giants might have possessed, it becomes even more critical to examine not just what we find in the ground, but also how these discoveries challenge our perceptions of history, technology, and human potential. Moving forward, let us delve deeper into the enigma of megalithic structures like Ingapurka and their potential connection to the giants. Ingapurka, with its iconic Temple of the Sun, stands as a testament to advanced architectural mastery. Its massive stones, some weighing several tons, were meticulously cut and shaped to interlock without the use of mortar, a technique that has puzzled archaeologists for decades. While mainstream archaeology attributes this engineering marvel to the Inca civilization, some theories suggest an alternative narrative, one that involves beings of immense physical strength and possibly advanced knowledge. The sheer size and precision of these stones raise questions that traditional explanations struggle to answer. How were these megaliths transported across challenging terrains without wheels or draft animals, and what tools enabled such precision cutting? If giants indeed existed, their extraordinary strength could have been a key factor in achieving these feats, allowing them to move and position the stones with ease. Beyond Ingapurka itself, hints of similar construction techniques can be observed in lesser-studied sites across Ecuador, some of which remain buried or obscured by vegetation. These hidden remnants add layers to the mystery, suggesting that the giants, if they were real, might have been part of a broader network of megalithic builders. Interestingly, legends surrounding these structures often mention the involvement of giant beings, reinforcing the notion that oral traditions may hold fragments of historical truth. But the connection between giants and these architectural wonders extends beyond mere physical labor. Some researchers propose that the giants, possessing advanced knowledge, could have been instrumental in the design and astronomical alignments of such sites. For instance, the Temple of the Sun at Ingapurka is believed to align with specific solar events, hinting at an understanding of celestial patterns that would have required careful observation and planning. If the giants played a role, their involvement may have gone beyond brute force, encompassing intellectual contributions that rival those of ancient civilizations known for their scientific achievements. Yet, as intriguing as these possibilities are, tangible proof remains elusive. The lack of definitive evidence linking the giants to these constructions leaves us pondering whether such theories are glimpses of forgotten truths or simply attempts to fill gaps in our historical understanding. Nevertheless, the relationship between giants and megalithic structures continues to spark debates and inspire exploration, urging us to keep questioning and uncovering the mysteries of the past. As we unravel this intricate tapestry, it becomes clear that the story of the giants and their potential connection to these architectural feats is far from complete. Now turning to the impact on indigenous communities, the discoveries of ancient giants in Ecuador have stirred deep cultural resonance among the native populations. For many indigenous groups, the tales of giant beings are not merely myths but integral parts of their heritage, passed down through generations as oral traditions. These legends often describe giant ancestors who shaped the land, built monumental structures, and even interacted with early human tribes. The unearthing of massive skeletons and the renewed interest in these stories have reignited a sense of pride within these communities, validating beliefs that had long been dismissed as folklore by outsiders. To them, these findings are more than archaeological curiosities. They are tangible links to their ancestry and a reaffirmation of their cultural wisdom. This renewed spotlight on indigenous narratives has also fostered greater appreciation for their historical knowledge systems, which were often overlooked or undervalued in academic circles. Moreover, the connection between the giants and sacred sites like in Cuenca has reinforced the spiritual significance of these locations, prompting efforts to preserve them not just as historical monuments, but as living symbols of cultural identity. For the indigenous people, the giants are not merely relics of the past but a source of inspiration, reminding them of a profound connection to their land and its mysteries. This cultural revival, sparked by the rediscovery of these legends, underscores the important role these stories play in shaping collective identity, while also urging the global community to respect and honor the rich tapestry of indigenous traditions. As the past continues to reveal its secrets, these communities stand as guardians of a legacy that bridges ancient history with the modern world. Moving forward, let us explore the global context of giant discoveries, as Ecuador is not the only place where the Earth has seemingly whispered secrets of colossal beings. Across North America, there are accounts of unusually large skeletal remains unearthed in the late 1800s and early 1900s, particularly in regions like the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. These discoveries often coincided with the excavation of ancient burial mounds, sparking theories that these giants may have been connected to the mysterious mound builder cultures. Similarly, in parts of Asia, particularly in areas like India and China, legends and occasional claims of oversized bones have emerged, blending seamlessly with local folklore that speaks of giant warriors and divine beings towering over mere mortals. In Africa, stories of the Anunnaki and findings of large footprints in places like South Africa have further fueled speculation about ancient giants. Interestingly, there are parallels between these global accounts and the discoveries in Ecuador. In many cases, these findings are linked to myths and oral histories that speak of giants as pivotal figures in shaping early civilizations, constructing monumental sites, or even possessing advanced knowledge and abilities. While skepticism surrounds many of these claims, particularly where concrete evidence is scarce or poorly documented, the recurring presence of giant-themed narratives across continents is striking. What makes the Ecuadorian discoveries stand out, however, is the relatively recent timeline of the findings and the physical remains, which have reignited global interest in the possibility that giants were more than just the stuff of legend. This broader perspective pushes the boundaries of understanding, urging us to reconsider how these disparate accounts from around the world might interconnect, shedding light on a mystery that transcends borders and compels us to dig deeper, both literally and figuratively. Now turning to the role of modern technology, advancements in archaeological tools have revolutionized the way we uncover secrets buried deep within the earth. In the case of ancient giants in Ecuador, technologies like ground-penetrating radar offer the ability to detect anomalies beneath the surface without disturbing the layers above. This tool can identify potential burial sites, hidden chambers, or even structures that could be tied to these mysterious beings. Imagine scanning the dense forests of Ecuador, pinpointing locations where further excavation might reveal more skeletal remains or artifacts. Similarly, 3D imaging technology allows archaeologists to create highly detailed models of unearthed bones, preserving their structure digitally and making it possible to study them from every angle. This becomes especially valuable when dealing with fragile or incomplete remains, as it ensures that no detail is lost during analysis. In addition, carbon dating techniques can provide precise age estimates for these findings, helping to align them with historical timelines or exposing gaps that challenge our current understanding of history. And let's not overlook the potential of artificial intelligence, which can analyze vast amounts of data, comparing and contrasting discoveries from Ecuador with those from around the globe, revealing patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. These tools collectively enhance our ability to verify findings and bring credibility to claims that might have been dismissed as myths in the past. This reliance on advanced technology does not only bring efficiency, but also a sense of scientific rigor to a field historically steeped in legend and speculation. As we stand on the cusp of future discoveries, these tools are our allies in illuminating the past, bridging the gap between folklore and tangible evidence, and possibly revealing answers to one of humanity's most enduring mysteries. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we venture into the boundless potential for future discoveries in Ecuador and its surrounding regions. The dense rainforests, sprawling mountains, and uncharted territories present an immense opportunity for archaeologists and researchers to uncover more pieces of this captivating puzzle. Imagine the wealth of history that could still be lying beneath the surface, shielded by centuries of soil and vegetation, waiting to be revealed. However, these promising prospects come with significant challenges. The remote and rugged terrain of Ecuador makes accessibility a daunting task, requiring advanced logistics and substantial resources to conduct thorough excavations. Additionally, the dense vegetation of the Amazon rainforest often conceals potential sites, making it nearly impossible to pinpoint precise locations without the aid of advanced technology. Yet, this very mystery fuels the drive for further exploration, as each corner of this diverse landscape holds the promise of unearthing something extraordinary. Future expeditions could expand beyond skeletal remains, potentially discovering tools, artifacts, or even structures that might offer deeper insights into the daily lives, culture, or origins of these enigmatic beings. Collaboration among international experts, indigenous communities, and advanced technological teams could pave the way for groundbreaking revelations. Moreover, as global interest in these giants grows, increased funding and support for these endeavors could bring us closer to understanding the full scope of their existence. Every expedition not only brings us closer to verifying these ancient legends, but also deepens our appreciation for the rich and complex history of Ecuador. As we gaze into the future, the question lingers: what other secrets does this land hold, and how might they reshape our understanding of humanity's past? As the next challenge unfolds, the possible existence of ancient giants pushes us to reconsider the intricate story of human evolution. If these beings truly walked the earth, how do they fit into the established timeline of our species? Could they represent an entirely separate branch of humanity, an evolutionary experiment that defied the natural order? Such a discovery would challenge everything we thought we knew about the journey from our ancient ancestors to modern humans. Anthropologists have long worked to piece together the puzzle of our origins, relying on fossil records, genetics, and cultural development to explain the rise of Homo sapiens. The introduction of giants into this narrative would be like adding a missing piece, one that not only alters the picture but forces us to rethink the framework itself. Were these beings a result of natural evolution, perhaps a response to environmental conditions we do not yet understand? Or could they represent a lost chapter in humanity, one that suggests a far more complex interplay of genetic diversity than previously imagined? The implications extend beyond anthropology, touching on our place in the natural world. If giants coexisted with early humans, what does this say about the dynamics of survival and dominance among species? Did they interact with our ancestors, share knowledge, or perhaps even conflict with them? The idea that another humanoid species once roamed the Earth opens up profound questions about what it truly means to be human. It also calls us to reflect on the fragility of our existence. If giants once thrived and vanished, what lessons might their story hold for the future of humanity? As we ponder these evolutionary enigmas, we are reminded that history is not a static tale but a living tapestry, one that continues to evolve with each discovery. Our understanding of the past shapes our identity, and these potential revelations about giants challenge us to see ourselves not as the sole protagonists of Earth's story, but as part of a much wider and more intricate narrative. Now turning to the intriguing intersection of pop culture and ancient giants, we find that the story of these supposed massive beings in Ecuador has ignited a wave of fascination that transcends academic discussions. Documentaries have sprung up, offering speculative explorations of their existence, blending archaeological findings with dramatic reenactments to captivate audiences. These productions often weave together science, myth, and creative storytelling, presenting the giants as an unsolved mystery that challenges the boundaries of what we know. Beyond documentaries, the internet has become a breeding ground for theories and debates. Social media platforms teem with discussions, ranging from thoughtful analyses of archaeological reports to wildly imaginative conspiracies suggesting that giants were erased from history by powerful forces intent on maintaining the status quo. This fertile ground for speculation has drawn in amateur researchers, skeptics, and believers alike, creating a digital landscape where the giants of Ecuador are endlessly debated and reimagined. The appeal of these stories lies in the way they tap into our universal love for the mysterious and the unknown. They evoke a sense of wonder, a longing to believe that the world still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. In video games and literature, the idea of ancient giants often serves as a metaphor for forgotten knowledge or a lost golden age, resonating with audiences on a deeply emotional level. This narrative framework allows people to connect with the giants not just as historical curiosities, but as symbols of humanity's quest for understanding. From a cultural perspective, the giants offer a powerful reminder of the thin line between myth and history. They challenge us to question how stories are shaped and why certain narratives endure while others fade away. In doing so, they become more than just a subject of pop culture. They transform into a mirror reflecting our own curiosities, fears, and aspirations. As the fascination with these giants grows, so too does their role in shaping modern folklore, proving that the allure of the unknown remains as strong as ever in our collective imagination. With the next phase of the journey in sight, let us consider why the discovery of ancient giants in Ecuador holds such profound significance, not only as a historical curiosity, but as a potential turning point in our understanding of humanity itself. If verified, these findings would rewrite the chapters of science and history, challenging the deeply entrenched narratives that have long shaped our perception of the past. For the scientific community, the existence of such beings would demand a reassessment of human evolution, introducing questions about the diversity of ancient species and their interaction with early humans. Could the giants represent a previously unknown branch of humanity, one that thrived and then mysteriously vanished? If so, what factors might have led to their extinction, and what can their story tell us about the resilience and vulnerabilities of life on Earth? From a historical perspective, the implications are equally sweeping. Ancient legends and myths that were once dismissed as mere folklore might find new validation, blurring the line between history and mythology. This would compel scholars to revisit countless cultural narratives that have been marginalized or overlooked, offering a richer and more inclusive account of human heritage. It might also illuminate unknown interactions between ancient civilizations and these enigmatic beings, shedding light on how they may have influenced the structures, technologies, or belief systems that we continue to study today. Beyond science and history, the spiritual and philosophical ramifications are equally profound. the discovery of giants would resonate deeply with religious and cultural traditions that speak of larger-than-life beings as divine or symbolic figures. For many, this could serve as a bridge between faith and science, opening up avenues for conversations about the interconnectedness of the physical and the metaphysical world. On a broader scale, it challenges us as a species to reflect on what it truly means to be human. Are we just one thread in a vast, multi-layered tapestry of existence, with other forgotten beings playing roles just as significant as our own? Ultimately, the giants of Ecuador, if proven real, would not just be another archaeological discovery. They would become a lens through which we reevaluate our place in the universe. They remind us that history is not a static record but a dynamic puzzle, with pieces waiting to be uncovered to reveal a more intricate and awe-inspiring picture of our past. As we ponder the implications of these findings, they urge us to remain curious, humble, and open to the mysteries that still surround us, showing that humanity's quest for knowledge is far from over. As the sun sets on this extraordinary journey, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound mysteries we have uncovered. From the ancient legends whispered through generations to the tantalizing physical evidence unearthed in Ecuador, the story of the giants challenges everything we thought we knew about our past. It pushes the boundaries of science, reshapes the contours of history, and stirs the deepest corners of our imagination. These enigmatic beings, if proven real, could rewrite the narrative of human evolution, force us to reconsider the myths that have shaped our cultures, and inspire us to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. They are a testament to the power of discovery, reminding us that the answers to our greatest questions often lie hidden in the most unexpected places. Yet, as we stand at this crossroad of knowledge and mystery, the question remains: what other secrets might still be buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be uncovered? Could these giants be the missing piece to a puzzle far greater than we can currently comprehend? As we ponder these possibilities, let us stay curious, keep questioning, and embrace the wonder of the unknown. If this exploration has sparked your imagination or left you hungry for more, make sure to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for deeper dives into the world's most captivating mysteries. Together, we continue the quest for answers, one discovery at a time.